Hello, this is the SD review, and today we are taking a look at LastPass. So what is it and what does it do? LastPass is an app that allows you to securely store passwords and share passwords. It's got a couple of different license types. There's a business one or there's a personal one. So it's not just for business owners, it's for absolutely anybody to be able to use. And within those, you can choose to upgrade to include different things like your family members or your team members. So it's not just for businesses, which is really good. So this is for anyone who needs to remember lots of different passwords. The point of LastPass is to remove the need to have all your passwords written down somewhere where anyone can access them and saved on your computers and in your different browsers and that kind of stuff. And it makes them more transferable and easily moved from one thing to another. So if your computer goes down, for example, you can log in somewhere else and you'll be able to still access all of your passwords. So it's not all done on one browser or anything like that. And let's face it, passwords are becoming even more important and more complicated to put together. You know, they want your inside leg measurement, whether ducks quack and all that kind of stuff now. It's all getting a bit out of hand, really. But it's really important to remember that these things are the gatekeepers to your data, to all the things that you're using. So they are really important, even though they are irritating. They are really important. So this just gives you a way of securing them in one place, nice and securely, and no one can access it without your permission and without having the master password, which is really cool. And it doesn't just hold passwords either. It can literally hold anything that you want to keep under lock and key. So for example, you can put your driving license information in there or your passport information. So if you do a lot of traveling, having your passport information in there makes it really quick and easy for you to copy and paste it into the right places when you need to put your passport details in. So that's really cool. And if you've got autofill switched on as well on different websites, questions will automatically populate with the information and with your login details and password details and stuff like that. It's also got a mobile phone app, so you can share your password across devices. It's a paid for function, but you do get access to it for free for 30 days, which is really cool. And in the paid version and the trial period of the free version, you also get dark web monitoring. So they look at your different email addresses that you use for your logins and that kind of stuff to let you know of any breaches that are going to happen, and alerts you to change your password if any breach has been triggered. So it keeps you up to date on what's going on with the data that you're using and that kind of stuff. So that's really quite cool. I just think it's amazing. I think it's a really good thing. So let's have a look at it and then you can see what you think. So LastPass, the last password you will ever have to remember, or so they say. So this is how it looks. Everything that's blurred out obviously is my personal information and that kind of stuff. So you've got different folders that you can put things into. So you've got a favorites folder. So every time if you use something a lot, you can stick it into your favorites. So it comes up at the top. And then you can have different folders for different things. So as you can see, I've got a personal one there. Plus I've got some other folders in there to help organize my passwords. And it doesn't just look after passwords, as I said, you can put secure notes in there, you can put addresses in there, payment cards, bank accounts, driver's license, passport, social security numbers, insurance policies, health insurance, memberships, Wi-Fi passwords, email accounts, instant messenger, database stuff, server stuff, SSH keys, software licenses, and you can also create your own custom types, which is really cool because if you've got a business and you need to transfer information to your other team members and that kind of stuff, this is a really good, safe and secure way of being able to transfer those sorts of information or to make it available to other people. It's so good. It gives you a security score as well, so you can see how many at-risk passwords you've got. As you can see, I have a few there that I need to be working on, so I'll be going in and changing all of those in a little while. And as you can see at the bottom there, you can see my admin at simplisticdata.co.uk, which is used in some different bits and pieces, and that's secure. And any other email addresses that I might use, they're also secure. Now, if you hold passwords and stuff for your clients, it also checks your clients' ones for you as well. You can set it up to either check them or to not check them. It's up to you. But it just means that you can keep everything safe while you're looking after it. You can safely share passwords and information. So when you share a password with somebody else, it comes up in their shared folders, and it's such a good way of doing things, because I'm not a big fan of sending stuff via email, because emails can be intercepted. This way it's a lot quicker as well, because you literally put in the email address of the person you want to share it with, click the send button, and it ends up in their shared folders, and they'll be able to see those and add them to their own passwords. So if you're working on something for a client, for example, they can share their password with you, you can save it securely, and at the end you can delete the whole thing, which is why I like the folders as well, because then I can delete the whole folder if I've got more than one password for my client. You've also got an in case of emergency, so people you trust. So if anything happens to you, they can request access to your LastPass account. So, you know, if anything happens to you, you know, in this case, I have someone set up at the moment. It says it's pending, but now accepted, luckily. But, you know, if anything happens and they email you and you don't respond, they'll allow access to your LastPass account so that they can go in there and, you know, close things down, or, you know, update things and that kind of stuff. And you've only got one master login. That's all you need to remember, which is really cool. So you've got one email account that you need to remember. You've only got one password, which is really good. And then it gives you access to everything. You've got authentication apps in here as well. So, you know, I do have Microsoft Authenticator and Google Authenticator. I do use both of those, but I also use the LastPass one because I like to have all different ones, because my clients use different authenticators. It just makes it a little bit better for me to make sure that I've got those available. So at the moment, as you can see, only LastPass is on here because that's all I need for this particular application. But I do also have Microsoft and Google Authenticator as well. And you can cover different domains as well. So as you can see with Amazon, because they've got so many different URLs, but they're all the one company, you can then add in all the different URLs that might be to do with that one place to make them trusted. You know, so if your client has different websites, for example, but they're all to do with the same business, like, you know, like landing pages and God knows what else, you know, you can always put all of those together so that everything's always trusted. You can also create different identities. So this is a paid for service, and I absolutely love it. So if you do have your own business, I would really recommend you paying for the paid version and getting identities. So if you use it in this way. So what identities does is it allows you to create an identity and add different passwords into that particular thing. So for example, say I've got ABC customer, I can put all of ABC customers within their identity, and then what that allows me to do is just show that identity. So rather than seeing everyone else's passwords, I'll only see those ones for ABC company, and then I'll be able to go to any website that they've got and only see their password. So there's no risk of me logging into the wrong account or anything like that, which is also really good if you've got families as well. You know, if you've got your kids' accounts and stuff like that on here, you can log in as your child rather than as you. And it's literally just a way of making it really simple and easy to see all of your different passwords in the different ways. You've also got a secure password generator. So as you know, passwords are an absolute nightmare at the moment, and they're getting more and more and more complex, and rightly so, because as I say, they are they're our gatekeepers to everything that we have. And this will allow you to create a password, and then it automatically saves it for you as well. So when you create your when you go into whatever app it is that you're going into to register, you put in your username or your email, and then you can generate a password, and then from that it will then copy it all over into LastPass, so you haven't got to set it up again. It will automatically move it across and save it for you, and you can denote how you want it to be, whether you want it to be easy to say, easy to read, whether you want all different characters, whether you want symbols in it or not, because some places like symbols, some places don't, so you can change it around, sort of thing, which is really cool. So how would you use it? So for my business, it's been an absolute godsend, if I'm honest. I don't know how I managed without it. Because of the nature of what I do, I regularly am provided with passwords from different customers. When I'm setting up the CRM systems and any automations, they might have different applications that do different things that I need to join together through an automation. So it really helps me, like people who use Zapier a lot, for example. It's quite good to keep on top of all their different passwords, and because of the identities, I can then keep them on top of each of my clients as well. So rather than because a lot of them use Zapier as a really good example, I might have 4 or 5 different clients that I'm working on at the same time that all have a login for Zapier. But if I go into my identity and I select the right client, I only see the password and the usernames for that particular client. So I can't muck it up. I can't log into somewhere else where I shouldn't be, and all that kind of stuff. And it also gives me a really good, safe and secure place to keep all of their information. And as I said before, because I put everything into folders, I put them into a client folder as well as into an identity. And what that means for me is at the end of the project, when we've worked together, 30 days after the end of the project, I delete all the passwords. I don't want to keep hold of any of that data whatsoever, because I don't need it anymore. Because if nothing's happened after 30 days, chances are nothing's going to go wrong or anything. So, we get rid of it. And the beauty of using LastPass means I can delete the whole folder, and it deletes all of the passwords within the folder. So I haven't got to go through and delete each one individually. I can delete the whole folder and get rid of the whole lot, which is great for me. And it's great for my clients as well, because it gives them a little bit of safety and in the knowledge that it's not going to be hidden somewhere, or it's not in an email somewhere or anything like that. Everything's all done in the one place. And the other good thing is, if my client uses LastPass, which would be the most amazing thing, they can send me their information securely. Like I say, I'm not a big fan of sending things via email. And if you do send passwords via email, please make sure that you send your username in a separate email to your password, because then if anything does get intercepted, they're not joined together. Whereas if you put everything in one email, they've got everything in that case. So try and send them separately. But if not, use LastPass so that you can send your passwords to me if I'm working with you nice and securely. And I know a lot of VAs use LastPass as well, which is really good. And I would encourage all VAs, whether you're a tech VA or an admin VA or a social media VA, whatever it is that you do, because it's a really good way of keeping hold of your passwords for your client to keep them nice and secure. And then you haven't got to have them listed in a Word document or on a board somewhere, or do you know what I mean? It's nice and quick and easy. And like I say, when you go into LastPass and you're logged in, you can click the launch button next to the app that you want to go to, and it launches it and logs you in automatically. So you haven't got to, find the URL, go into it, then put with the username, then put the password in. You haven't got to do that. You can literally click launch and then it takes you in, which is absolutely amazing. And it's great if you've got a family account as well. So even if you don't use it for business, if you've got a family account, you can send passwords to your other family members. So for example, like the Netflix password or your Disney Plus password, which kids always forget and they don't always have everywhere. So it's quite good to be able to share those with your family members and that kind of thing. But again, like I say, just be aware that some functions are paid functions. You can share for free. It's not a problem to share for free. But if you've got, you'd have to set your family members up as individual accounts and share through the individual account if you didn't want to pay for it. So that's just a little workaround for you. So what does this integrate with? So this isn't really the sort of app that integrates with anything, if I'm honest, because there's not really much here that would be useful to integrate with. And for the majority of people, like I say, it's just not necessary. There's no need to move it to anything else or attach it to anything else. That being said, if you're a business owner, it does offer API connections. So if you wanted to share different logins across your business, and I think this would be more towards like the bigger business with big IT teams rather than the smaller little businesses and the sole traders and that kind of thing. But you can use it to push passwords to your team members and to also generate reporting as well. But like I say, for the majority of us, that's really not necessary. But if you do have a bigger business, or if you work in IT and you're looking for something, I would have a look at LastPass, because it covers so many different things. It is quite a good little app. So what are the positives of using LastPass? Well, I love it, like I say, because it's been a godsend for me. It really has. It's safe and it's secure, and it allows me to safely share logins and passwords between myself and my clients, which is amazing. And I obviously always want to keep my clients safe and secure as much as I possibly can. I love that I can store important information in here as well, from a business perspective, such as my license keys for my software and that kind of stuff. That's quite cool. And I love that I've only got one place to go to delete my clients' login details, wherever it is. So I could just do the whole lot in one go by deleting the whole folder and the identity, and that's it. They've all gone. And I love that the free version is enough for any small business, as long as it's only kept on one device. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's just the most amazing thing. And I love that you can auto generate passwords and you can save it as you go along as well. That's really cool. So it's like, like on a browser, when it come up in the corner and say to you, do you want to share save this password? I ignore the browser version, but go with the LastPass one when that comes up, and you'll see it. It's not, you can't really miss it. It's quite blatant what it is. And I love the plugin that you have for all major browsers as well. So you've got a little plugin that you can plug into Chrome or to Firefox and that kind of stuff, which means that I don't have to save my stuff on every browser. It will literally pick it up from LastPass, no matter what browser I'm logged into, and it will, connect, so I can then select what I need. I find this really useful if you're testing URLs. So for example, if you're building landing pages or if you're building websites, checking them on every browser, you need to make sure you're on every browser, because not all browsers are created equal. What looks really good on one browser doesn't look good on another. So to be able to have that plug-in across all the different browsers, so you can just log in and see what things look like, that's an absolute amazement for me. I think that's fabulous. And the best thing about it is, as I said, you can launch directly from LastPass. So you can log into LastPass and find the login that you want to launch, click the launch button, and it goes and opens up the URL, puts your username in and puts your password in, and then off you go. It's fabulous. So what are the negatives? Because there's got to be some negatives, and there are a few, to be honest. There's not a huge amount, but with everything, it's not perfect. So before I discovered and set up identities, I used to put everything in folders, which is fine on the desktop version, but they're quite difficult to view on a mobile device. It's easy if you've got identities, but if you haven't got identities, it's quite difficult if you've got lots and lots of different logins, because it puts them in alphabetical order. So, it's alphabetical with the app. So you've got to scroll through all the Zapier apps, all of the, if you use MailerLite apps, for example, all the MailerLite ones, and just to find the right login details. So there is a bit of an opportunity there for things to go wrong if you don't use the paid versions and set up identities. So I would really like for that folder structure to be carried over into the mobile version. If anyone from LastPass is listening, that would be really good. That'd be really helpful. If you have more than one password listed for a couple of particular apps, and it is only 1 or 2 apps, sometimes it doesn't add in the username when you launch. In these instances, though, you can simply click the autofill box that appears in the corner of the field, select the correct license, and then it pops up, and then it will log you in, and it's absolutely fine. I find that it's really only Zapier and Render Forest that I have those issues with. All the other apps that I use, regardless of how many different logins I have, seem to be okay. It just seems to be those 2 that I seem to have a bit of a problem with. But other than that, it still works fine. Like I say, you can still open it up and you can still copy and paste things across. So it's not actually a massive issue, but it is still a negative point. Another small gripe I have is regarding the sharing of passwords. When passwords are shared, you get to choose which folder it appears in, which is fabulous. But if you, for some reason, select the wrong password, wrong folder, sorry, you can't change it after you've saved it, which is really frustrating. I get not being able to change the login details and that kind of stuff, because obviously it's not my information, but moving it to a different folder shouldn't actually make any difference. But that's just me. That's just a little gripe that I have, really, because I wish that I could do that and move things about. Because sometimes I like to do a bit of spring cleaning and move things, and I find a better way of doing things, or a different way of logging things. And if they've shared it with me, I can't move that password, which is a bit annoying. So that's it. That is LastPass, and I really like it. And if you have your own business, have a look at the and use like logins for your clients and stuff. Have a little look, because it'll be an excellent addition to your arsenal, I promise you. Even if you only use the free version, it's still absolutely fantastic for that kind of environment, which is good. Setting it up is really quick and easy as well. And, like when your web browser asks you if you want to save a password, it comes up in a little box so you can save it as you go along. So LastPass does the same. All you do is select it to save in LastPass rather than in your browser. And let me know if you use it. If you're already using it, what do you think about it? Put the comments in this video comments, because I'd be really interested to hear what your views are. And obviously, anyone that's looking to potentially install LastPass, I want to make sure that they've got the pros and cons so they understand what it is. So, let me know what your views are as well. I'd be really, really interested to hear about those. And if you've got any other tools that you use that you think are really good, that you think I should do a little review on and have a look at, so I can suggest them for my clients, please let me know about those as well, because I love looking at new technology, and the more I have to hand, the more I can help my clients and help you potentially. So let me know what you use. If you want me to do a little video on those so we can have a look. The next one I'll be doing should be coming out hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I've already got it all set up. I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but that should be out in the next few weeks. And I'll see you next time.